Hi, my name is Roger Schluter. This video is really kind of how to start your business. Most people who watch these videos, they're getting a loan either to augment their business that they already have, or they're getting a loan to start a business. So, a loan can be for anything. Could be for a piece of equipment, could be for a truck, could be for a car, could be for a building, could be for inventory. So really you could get loans for almost anything, but a lot of people get them when they want to start a business. If you decide to start a business, you must decide if you'll start that business from scratch. Um, should you buy an existing business or should you buy a franchise? The individuals that start businesses from scratch must have a deep knowledge of the industry. And they must have worked at a similar company for many years to really know most of the aspects of that company. Sometimes a lucky employee can buy the company that he works for, but most companies will want to sell to the highest bidder, which sometimes, if you're an employee, sometimes you can't come up with that kind of cash. Companies owned by someone up in years are really good options, because a lot of times a person gets to a certain age and they really want to cash out of their business. Now, I've known people that are 75 years old, 80 years old, and they still run their business, so sometimes that doesn't work. But anyway, sometimes they can wait too long also. I was familiar with a business that was a service type business, and the person really valued that business. And the problem is he had a lot of people come in and look, and he had a lot of people make offers. But most of the people that made offers really didn't have the cash to buy it. They were more or less tying it up and then trying to see if they could get the money to buy it. That went on for a number of years. And meanwhile, the company was kind of in decline. And after a while, I think he finally did sell it to a related company he did business with, but he got a lot less than he could have if he would have sold it outright right away, years before. So sometimes you can wait too long, and if the business is kind of, if it's losing sales and earnings, you really need to get rid of that business quickly. And that makes a good buying opportunity for a buyer of a business. You can also talk to a business broker. There's lots of business brokers. Some of them are good, and some are bordering on being shysters. But anyway, they basically try to hook up a buyer and a seller, and they can usually sometimes even help you look for a particular type of business, and they'll usually do the marketing to look for that business for you. Brokers usually, they find business by contacting them, by calling them up, by sending them letters or some type of email, or by referral. Sometimes they have business relationships with banks and accountants, and sometimes, they tell them if you ever have somebody, I can help them find a buyer and find a good price. So a lot of times they'll go ahead and those businesses that want to sell will be referred to them by banks or accountants or whoever. You can actually market in this way. I mean, I've seen a lot of companies or a lot of people that I've known that just, they go ahead and do it kind of a similar way to the business brokers. And that similar way to the business brokers would basically be either do mailings to similar businesses, to call up businesses that are like the one you want to buy, to go ahead and visit them in person and talk to the owner, and to tell everybody that you're looking for this type of business. And a lot of times you'll get referrals from other businesses, either businesses that work with them or that sell to them or that they buy from. So a lot of times you'll get referrals in that manner. A lot of times business brokers will also sell franchises, and most franchises, a lot of them are really a proven business model. And the franchisor will usually know, the best location for the franchise. So, really there's several ways to look for a franchise, but there's many books out and it kind of depends on how old the book is. If it's 5 years old, it ain't going to do too much good. But anyway, there's several books that list many or almost all franchises, and they kind of tell you descriptions, they tell you costs, they tell you, what this franchise is like. Once you have a couple franchises that you are interested in, it might interest you to go ahead and check with SBA. They have what is called a franchise registry that will tell you if the franchise is approved by SBA to apply for an SBA loan. Now, they're not approved to get an SBA loan, but they are approved to apply, because a lot of times that relationship between the franchisor and the franchisee is not the relationship SBA wants. So there are a lot of franchises that they will not approve a loan for. So that's why they created the registry, to really tell you which franchises that they will lend to. So they won't, it's not approved yet, but they will lend to them, so you can apply. And the other thing is, you can also take the franchise documents. If they're not on that list, you can take those documents to SBA. They'll go through the legal jargon, and they'll come back and say whether they would go ahead and lend on that franchise. And like I said, you can do the marketing yourself. If you're looking for a certain type of business, call or write them, go in person. When I was in banking, sometimes I'd go visit companies, just walk in on a company that I didn't know. And I know once or twice I'd get companies that are basically, the guy's like, yeah, I'm really trying to sell it. If you hear of anybody that wants to buy, give me a call. And, sometimes those are businesses in decay, but then again, you get them cheap. So anyway, the like businesses or competitors of the company, that you work for would be good to talk to, see if they know of a company, who's looking to sell their business. And then you still want to have somebody go over the financials to see if this business is profitable. If not, you can negotiate a cheaper price, but, a cheaper price for a failing business, you're going to have to turn that business around. Now, this video is a little bit different, because I know a lot of people, how to start a business. Oh yeah, I hear it from everybody. This was a little different in trying to tell you how to find the business that you want, whether by start from scratch, rather than buying an existing company, or whether they're buying a franchise. The actual paperwork to start a business is really easy, and really doesn't cost too much either. If you're a service business that can get by without large amounts of cash for equipment and inventory and things like that, if a lot of yours is just the service that you're selling, if you have a credit card with a couple $100 on it, of credit, you can go ahead and open that business. Basically, you got to register with the Secretary of State. Most companies want to be an LLC, limited liability company, and then you want to make sure that limited liability company has a operating agreement, because the operating agreement you're going to have to buy separately. You're not going to get that through the Secretary of State. And the operating agreement really says who does what and what's what with the company, and that's really kind of what makes you bulletproof with the LLC. Corporations have been bulletproof. They're, and by bulletproof, I mean they can't come through you, that veil. They can't come through your company and go at you personally. They basically have to stop at the company, because it's considered a separate entity. So anyway, you want to get an operating agreement, and you can pay an attorney to get it, and then it's right, and that attorney will stand by it. Or you can get it done, I think, for under $100 online. So anyway, then you also want to apply for a taxpayer identification number. And really, if you do business with other businesses, they're always going to want you to give your taxpayer identification number, especially if they have to send you a 1099 later or something. And then you also want to apply for a fictitious name statement. If your business name will be different from the name that you basically got registered with the Secretary of State. So if you're going to go by a different name, then and even if it just leaves off the LLC, you probably should go ahead and get a fictitious name statement, just so everything's on the up and up. The last thing you really want to do is go ahead and register your business with the city or county you're in. I've seen counties around St. Louis that don't they don't have any business registry at all, or if there is, it's very limited. And then I've seen cities that, yes, if you in order to do business, in that city, you're supposed to have a license. So that becomes a little more. I would just check with the city you're in and check with the county and see if you have to. And a lot of times, if they're not a big deal, but you just want to cover yourself, usually it's not much. It's like $50 or something. It's not a big deal. So anyway, if you follow these 5 steps, bingo, you're in business. All you got to do now is make money. And then if you don't make money, you'll go out of business. So you got to make money. And so anyway, this is the end of the video. And if you like this kind of content, either commercial lending content or business content, I hope you'll subscribe and hit the bell notification for future videos. And if you take away something of value in this, I hope you'll go ahead and hit the like button. Anyway, well, thank you very much. My name is Roger Schlueter, and I'll see you in the next video.